Welcome, welcome, my traveling friends, to makeshift camping. Right now, it's pretty nice outside, but it's like last few days, it's not going to stay that way for long. So we're kind of out early this morning. We're going to cook us up a little something to eat here. Told my wife last night, I said, I think I'm going to make us Reubens in the morning, and so that's what I'm fixing to do. Put us some Reubens together. Uh, I don't know if you guys like Reubens. I like Reubens. I can eat them for breakfast, lunch, or supper. It doesn't really matter to me. Most people see them as a lunch or supper item, but hey, uh, like I said, I could go either way. So it's really simple. You know, you have you got your meat here, uh, your corned beef. I drew a blank on corned beef. Your kraut, your Swiss cheese, and your Thousand Island dressing is, hey, it's so simple. You know, it's an easy camping meal to have long. Uh, I use Swiss cheese in a lot of things, so you could actually use shredded uh, Swiss cheese, which I use more than I do any of it. But we just happen to have the slice, so we brought that. Usually, we like Thousand Island dressing, so I usually got that on hand. So actually the only couple of things we really have to try to, and we try to keep kraut on hand too. We got cans of kraut. This one, jar of kraut, it stays in the refrigerator. So basically, the only thing we really have to go for is the corned beef and our bread. We got our rye bread here. I got a couple of slices right there. I didn't bring it all out right now. But we're gonna put this together, and that's gonna be my breakfast. My wife will probably eat hers for lunch, but I'm gonna eat that for breakfast. But anyway, but guys, I tell you what, whew, again, we've had some miserable, miserable days. Yesterday, by 9:30 in the morning, it was too hot to do anything. We got to 117 index here, and you can't do anything out there at 117. It's just you just can't do it. My goodness, you can't do it, guys. I've got my little uh, rooster and hen knife here. Uh, Pretty little knife. That's what I'm going to be using today if I got to cut up anything or whatever, and I'm going to probably. So, uh, I've got my oven going because I'm gonna have to put it in there, 350. Just something to warm this up when you get ready uh, to make a sandwich out of it. So, like I said, it's such a simple meal to prepare. So, what I normally do, I think I'm trying to decide if that camera position is going to be good enough for what I'm trying to do. Let's see if we can get you a little closer here, maybe. Let's see what we got here. See what we got here. Yeah, that may be a little bit better there. Okay. All right. Let's see which one. So there we go. I'm gonna make up a few of these because we can warm them up and have them ready uh, to go for lunch and supper or whatever. Because, uh, like I said, you can use these for any meal. Like I said, I like mine for breakfast. So I'm gonna put us a couple in here. Like I said, I like my meats. I've said before, I like my meats thin, so I don't really stack them up. But some people do. Some people like a lot of meat on a sandwich. Uh, I just happen not to be that type of person. Let me grab me a fork right here out of my drain pan there, boys. Like I said, it's nice, so nice. So all I'm simply Actually, I could go ahead and put, I don't know why I'm trying to jump my gun again. I need to put another one in here. If these are made right, these are one of my favorite sandwiches. But again, they've got to be made right. You got to have the right brand of sauerkraut. Now, this is what we use here, but people like different flavors, different textures, or whatever. But a good sauerkraut makes this sandwich, or it kills this sandwich. And good corned beef makes this sandwich. I mean, you got to have good bread, you got to have good meat, you got to have good kraut and cheese. I mean, all three of these have got to be good. If not, the sandwich is terrible, in my opinion. Man, oh man, oh man. Buddy of mine was telling me his grandson wants him to buy him a car. Uh, he's 16. Uh, so he told the boy, he said, I'll tell you what, this year, if semester school says, if you'll bring me home a C and B average, because the boy struggles in school, he said, I'll help you buy a car. Also, his son's got really, really long hair. Told the boy, he said, also, I want you to trim up that hair because you need to get you a little part-time job if you can, and you'd become more getting more with that haircut like that, you know. Little boy said, told him, he said, grandson told him, he said, but grandpa, he said, Jesus had long hair. Nobody said nothing about that. His grandpa told him, he said, yeah, and Jesus walked everywhere he went too, didn't he? Yeah, he walked everywhere he went too. I thought that was kind of cute. Oh man, boy, I tell you, it's nice to get older and you can just basically tell them what you think. I've been watching some of these videos the last couple of days. I just happened to be spinning through and saw it. And they're giving you opinions on what you ought to do, what you shouldn't do, and whatever over 60 years old. You know, uh, one thing I think you ought to be able to do and should do is just speak your mind. You know, don't hold back. Whatever you feel like saying, say it. Get it over with. But most of those videos, 99% of them that I watched, I probably watched 5 or 6 of them just kind of see what they had to say. Most of them was AI generated, so you don't know who's telling you or whatever. Uh, but like I said, the most of them repeated the exact same thing. You know, don't try to raise your grandkids. Uh, I'm trying to think what all they's telling. Uh, don't hang on to anger that you held on all your life. And I don't know. They just went on and on and on. What you shouldn't do and what you should do, and a lot of it is really there's a lot of truth to a lot of it. There really are. But you know what? As a young man, early 20s, all of my friends became older people. The majority of my friends were 12 to 50 years older than me, from my 20s up until modern day. You know, now I'm catching up, so they're not. The age gap is shrinking a little bit, but so I learned as I went along things that you need to leave alone, stay away from, whatever. So I don't really have to be taught that. I started enjoying life a long time ago. You know, I know that there comes a time you need to quit spending, you know. But I quit spending a long time ago, you know. Like I learned a long time ago, if you really wanted freedom in this life, you quit spending money. You don't have to have everything new, and you'll have just as much the other guys got, and you're not in the debt up to your eyeballs. Most of these people that's got all this stuff, that's flashing it and stuff, uh, they live from paycheck to paycheck. You know, it's always amazed me these people. And I tried this out one time back when I was a young man. I noticed all the guys had pretty expensive watches. You know, and I thought, you know what, I need to get me a watch to kind of fit in. So I bought me a Seiko diving watch. And back then, that particular watch, and I'm talking about early 20s, I'm talking about 20, 21 years old, was about $300. And back then, $300 was a lot of money. I don't care who you were. And I bought that, and man, every day for several days, I'd be flaunting that watch. Not one single person ever asked me about that watch. Now, it was a kind of a big watch, and so somebody might say, "Boy, it's an awful big watch," but they never asked me the brand. They never asked whatever. So that little $10, $12 Timex that I was wearing got me just as much notice and respect as this $300 watch did. And I thought to myself, boy, did I waste a lot of money. I just gave that watch to my son here just a few weeks ago. But I realized that a lot of things we think that impresses people really doesn't. And the guy who's trying to impress you with this stuff really can't afford to impress you with this stuff. You know, his whole life is dedicated to going to work because he's got to pay for all this stuff. Well, he misses one paycheck and he's lost it all. You know, that's like these young people thinking they've got to have two new cars and all this kind of stuff. Guys, with cell phones nowadays, there is no reason that a man and woman both need brand new cars. You need one car that you can count on no matter what. You could go get in that thing, take off New York City or whatever. But the other one, have 15, 2,000, 3,000, $4,000 worth of old car that can just get you around town. I mean, you got a cell phone. Something wants to happen. Worst case scenario, you call your wife or your husband or whatever, friends. Say, hey, I broke down over here. Can you come pick me up? You call a tow truck, whatever. And if that $2,000 car lasts you 1 year, you have made what? $6,000, $7,000? Because if that kind of car payment, my understanding now is $700 or $800 and more a month, and you just picked up a $2,000 or $3,000 car. So some people would save more than that. Their payments are even a lot more than that, especially if you got bad credit and stuff like that. You know, and just think what you could do with an extra $6,000 or $7,000 a year. You know, but anyway, they have a lot of advice for people our age. But like I said, I've been around older people all my life, and most of them live different type lives. Some of them were workaholics. Uh, some of them ate like they wanted to eat, drank like they wanted to drink, said what they wanted to say. In the end, they all passed. The majority of them lived to be old men. I'm going to say the average lived to be 75 and up. They didn't have somebody on YouTube telling them not to do this and not to do that. They just had a little common sense that, you know, take care of themselves as well as they could. I think if you take somebody away from something they love, I hear people all the time, man, we can't let Dad do that out there. He can't get out there on that tractor and do this. He can't go camping by himself. He can't go fishing. He can't do this. Let me tell you something. You're going to kill that old man a lot quicker by making him sit in that house on that couch than you'll ever let him get out there on his tractor, his boat, or go camping or whatever. And if he does happen to go out there, hey, at least he went doing something he enjoys. When I go, I don't care. I want to go doing something that I enjoy, not sitting on a couch. And guys, you're going to live a lot longer if you get up off that couch and get out here and do something. I don't care what it is. Now, I will tell you that. All the old men that I've known that lived to be old, really old, and I'm talking about people that, like I had a friend that was, pushing 400 pounds, sometimes 500 pounds. But he got up every day and went and done something. He lived to be 85 years old. So you can't say it's weight, you can't say it's this. A lot of it is just simply having something to do and get your butt up out of the house and get out and do something. You know, that's a trick to growing old. And of course, don't worry about what everybody else thinks about you. Who gives a crap? You know, you do your thing and go on. You know, but anyway, I just kind of got tickled out of all those videos. Them people telling us they call us old farts. What to do after you've turned 60 or 65 or 70 or whatever. Well, apparently we've been doing something right because we've made it to this point. But there is, like I said, there is a lot into what some of them said. But a lot of it, you should have learned long before you got to this age. You know, like talking to people. They had one on there. Some guy says after you've turned our age, you don't need to talk to people about your finances. Well, I'm telling you right now, you shouldn't have been talking to people about your finances a long time ago. Your finances between you and your spouse and nobody else. You should never, ever talk about your finances to somebody else. And really, even your health. Because a lot of people will take advantage of you if they think your health's bad or something. And you'll find out you're going to have a lot of people move in saying they're your friends, thinking because your health's bad, thinking they're going to end up with something or whatever. So, but a lot of this stuff is stuff you should have already figured out by the time you get our age. You know. Leave out just a little bit more here, but yeah, take time, take a little time and listen to some of those videos. But like I said, if you watch two, you've watched them all. But I'm listening. I'm interested. I mean, I'm going to listen to somebody's opinion, and sometimes you pick up something that you hadn't really thought of. But the main thing is I think when you get our age, main thing is hey, especially if you're fixed to retire or retired, simply have something to do. Don't just go home and sit down. Golly. Especially if you've had a stressful job. I read one time something that people who have really, really stressful jobs don't last long after it's over. You know, because they realize they had all that stress, and all of a sudden they just sit down and try to leave the world alone. Well, don't sit down. You get up there. You know, no matter what kind of shape you're in, try to do something. Like I said, I've seen some muscled up old boys run every day and eat well and everything. They're gone at a lot younger age than I am and that you are. A lot younger. I was walking with a doctor one time. He was uh, a health nut, and he died. He died on the walking track. Now, he and I wasn't walking together. He just happened to be there at the same time I was, but he was a health freak, so you never know about that. So, but main thing is just try to just get out and do something. Whatever you like doing, just get out and do it. All righty, I think about time to take that out and put our toast in there. Let me grab a rag. I should have already grabbed me a rag, shouldn't I? I get to run in my head and forget the important things, don't I? You guys eat these sandwiches. Would you eat these sandwiches for breakfast? Look at that. Woo, boy. That's good and hot. All right. Now I'm going to stick these in there and kind of crisp them up a little bit. Shut that door. Man, that's going to be, right there, it's going to be some good eating. Well, there it is. You see, I can't find my pancake turner. Take those out of there. Like I said, a lot of people would like a lot more meat than I do. I'm not a big meat. I don't like a lot of meat on my sandwiches, as I said. So that's going to be perfect for me. Yeah. All right, we're going to set this up to do some more. Because this way, all we got to do is just warm this meat up and we're ready to make more sandwiches. We'll have them ready. Anytime we cook, usually at home and out too, like this, we actually cook more than we want. That way, the next meal, we'd probably eat this for lunch and supper. We're not really that hungry. We can just run in there and toss one of these in the microwave and heat it up and make us another sandwich real quick. Toast our bread, and we're ready to go. It makes it easy on everybody. So there's no sense staying tied up in the kitchen when you can just make one meal. You know, a lot of times growing up, mom made one major meal, big meal, at lunchtime, and then you ate supper. You ate off of it again, or vice versa. She make supper, big meal. The next day, you ate it for lunch. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure a lot of you guys grew up that way too. You know, I was bad for a long time. I wasn't much on leftovers, but here over the last few years, I've got to where, hey, I understand that a lot of this stuff tastes better after if it's leftover. You know, especially soups and chilies and stuff like that. That's something I like to make is soup and chili stuff like that. Cause man, you can make several meals out of those. Just like we did that meatloaf. Same way with soup. Man, soup to me gets better. You know, up to 2 or 3 days later. You know, and if you make a huge pot, heck, you freeze half of it. Then you're ready for soup. Next time you just thaw that out, warm it up, and you're ready to go again. But yeah, I've kind of gotten where I kind of plan leftovers whenever I cook. But guys, I tell you right now, you would think it was I don't know, going to be in the low 70s today with this morning. But now I'm out here early. Uh, but it's gorgeous right now. It's time to be outside. If you would be out there in your lawn chair or something on your back porch, if you got a back porch or whatever. Uh, this is time you ought to be out here enjoying these few hours a day. Don't stay. I know when it gets hot, you stay huddled up in that house, but right now there's actually a little bitty breeze coming through here. We got our awning down. You know, uh, you need to be out here. Get your cup of coffee. Come out and sit out on your porch. Find you a little. If you don't have, if you're living in an apartment or something like that, find you a find you a little park somewhere close to you. And if you don't have a group to meet, but if you got a group to meet, that's perfect. You call somebody to go meet for coffee or something. Just something, just get out. But if you don't have something like that, find you a nearby little park. Get you a thermos, make you some coffee. Go to the park and sit and stuff in the morning times. Sauerkraut in the morning. Oh, that on there. Now, I like mine with sauerkraut. I like it pretty moist with sauerkraut. I don't want a dried up sandwich. See what I'm saying? Put that on there. And I also like to put a little bit of this on the side and dip my chips in it. I don't know about you guys. That lid back on there. If I don't, I'll have flies and stuff attacking me. I've been very fortunate about. I keep all this cleaned up around here, and somebody messaged me here a day or two ago, and they said, "Well, I noticed we don't see very many flies around your deal." Well, the only preventative I've been using is I try to keep everything washed up. Now that I've told y'all that, next time we do a video, there'll probably be 50 diggum flies flying around all my food and stuff. Yeah. Put that there. Try to keep an eye on this a little bit. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and shut that down for right now until we finish our video, and then I'm gonna come back and finish up everything. So I'm gonna pause us here, and I'm gonna go over and set up, and we're gonna taste this and see what we think. Okay, you guys stick with me. All right, let's tear into this. Look at that. That a pretty sandwich. Cut this open here and see what it looks like inside. Yeah, look how toasty that looks. Man, again, that flour part base, guys, makes all the difference in the world when it comes to browning the bottoms of your stuff. Everything. All right, let's give this a shot and see what we think. Mm-mm-mm-mm. There's not a thing wrong with that sandwich for breakfast. I guarantee if you can try it, you'd like it. Now, I've been up about 4 hours. So, even you crawling right out of bed and grabbing you a cup of coffee and doing this, you might not want to. But to me, if you get up at 8 o'clock and you stay up 4 hours and you eat lunch at 11 or 12 o'clock, you're basically doing the same thing I'm doing here. So I just get up at 4 and it's 8 o'clock now. It's basically my lunch, where it would be yours. I don't know if y'all do Thousand Island and chips. I do. No good. I made another. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Guys, like I said, it all comes down to what kraut and meat and cheese you use. You buy old cheap stuff, you'll ruin a Reuben sandwich. So pick you out a good kraut, especially the kraut. Damn, that trying to eat a sandwich, and I've eaten them at restaurants, stuff like that. And their choice of kraut, I mean, it just ruins the sandwich. And that corned beef, it's all dry and tough. Yeah, it's pitiful. But I got this for a breakfast sandwich. I mean, it's pretty good. To me, it's like eating a BLT for breakfast. And I've done that many, many, many times. You know, but we got to get out here before it gets hot and introduce different foods and stuff like that. But uh, I'm glad you guys stopped by and try your best to stay cool today. All right. And if you're my age and older, and which most likely you are, because that's about the age group that I've been attracting on this channel, which is perfectly fine with me. Uh, Take care of yourselves. You know, again, try to get out and do something. I know I keep harping on that, but guys, I'm telling you, life is so much more fun. I'm having a ball at this. I don't care if somebody says, and I've had somebody say, "Man, you're kind of old for that, ain't you?" I'm not too old for anything. If it brings you joy and you like doing it and you want to have fun, hey, they say once a man, twice a child. I'm turning back into my childhood. You know, I'm gonna do this because I want to do it, not because somebody's asked me to do it or I'm trying to impress anybody. It's just something that I thought, you know what, I'm gonna try that. I think it'd be fun, and that's what I'm doing. But anyway, guys, if you like the video, hit like. If you'd like to see some more like it, uh, hit subscribe. If you want to know the next time one comes up, hit that bell. That way, the next time it comes up, and you'll know it and be ready and can watch it. And we'll see you down the road, and we'll fix something else on our outdoor kitchen here. You guys have a cool day.